Alrighty, so who here has experienced themselves with permaculture? A little bit, some of you guys? Okay, awesome. What are the types of things that you guys do? I know you're already talking with her about it a little bit, but like where do you guys all stand? Like, are there some of you people who are literally like, I have no clue what permaculture is? You have absolutely no clue? Okay, sweet. I'm just trying to get, like see where everyone's coming from with this. So you guys who have experience with it, I want you guys to give me a definition of what permaculture is to you. Even just keywords, anything that you can think of. Just shout them out. Yeah, sustainability. Okay. Yeah, harmony. Harmony is a really good one. What is it? Resilience. Yeah. Okay. Perseverance is a good one. Companionship is a really good one. Harmony goes along with that. Yeah, camaraderie. So basically with permaculture, there is a deeper meaning behind it and a deeper ethics and a deeper understanding. So it's not just gardening. It's not just, growing some plants. It's a whole lifestyle and it's a whole mindset of, creating a harmony and truly like creating an environment as it should be to sustain itself. And it's really awesome the things that can be created with permaculture. So just to give you a basic rundown, it is like sustainable land design that incorporates its own little ecosystem. So you can make an ecosystem that will deter pests, companion plants are incorporated, creates harmony within, and also coming from my background, which I forgot to introduce myself. I am Katie, by the way, Katie Sunflower. Sorry, forgot to do that. But I have a background in ecotourism and adventure travel. I really, yeah, I did. Woo! Hawking College, did you? Right on. Yeah, we did lots and lots of classes in sustainability, and we worked on a permaculture farm. So we got to work a lot with that different kind of stuff. So I really like agritourism, and I think that that's something that's really, really cool with permaculture as well, is creating your own little, you could create a pod or a house or your own little farm for other people to come and sit on and help you. So it's creating a whole lifestyle, a lot like this festival, getting people to come from all around to help you with this stuff. So this is something that you can incorporate no matter where you are. You can go find opportunities through it, or you can create it literally in your like tiny one-bedroom apartment, So I just want you guys to really all understand that this is something that everyone can do in your own daily lives, no matter where you are or what you're doing. Okay, so I've printed out some handouts, and these are basically just like the principles of permaculture, kind of laid out for you guys. If you don't just take one, pass one, look them over. Oh yeah, a little grid at the bottom as well. Here, I'll take that one back at the bottom. Thank you. But yeah, basically I'll just go over some of the basics, some of the more boring lecture type stuff, I guess, of what permaculture really is. But these are like the basis, the building blocks for creating this lifestyle. So yeah, if everyone just wants to pass those around. Stacking is a really big thing. Building trellises. Is anyone here familiar with keyhole gardens? Yeah, if you're into permaculture at all, keyhole gardens are a really, really, they were first used in Africa because, they have not very good water sources there. So therefore they had to find ways to keep the plants, to keep each other living using minimal water. So what they did was think of a keyhole in the shape of a half circle, and then there's the little keyhole in the middle. So therefore you can reach anything that you plant on here from anywhere that you're standing. So anywhere along the outside you could reach all of your plants, and you can build up as high as you want to go. So you could make it out of a pallet. Pallets are awesome. So that way everything can just kind of grow through. So you could build it as high as you wanted and have everything just growing out. And then if you walk in the middle of it, you can also reach everything. And I've seen people set up really cool water systems that funnel down through the middle of the keyhole and can reach everything at every level, which is really cool. And that's another thing. Obviously, water is life. We all know that for sure. So how do you sustainably get water to your plants? I mean, that's a big thing in monoculture. Is everyone familiar with the difference between permaculture and monoculture? Would someone like to explain what monoculture is versus permaculture?
Monoculture is like one type of plant.
Right.
So like a cornfield.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So like what Monsanto has done, basically, that's monoculture. We have these huge fields somewhere of one thing that is obviously going to be susceptible to all kinds of pests because there's nothing working for it, nothing working against it, nothing protecting it. So yeah, therefore, also harvesting water to all these things, these large rows of corn and tomatoes and all this stuff. It's so crazy. You see those big sprayers? You guys have ever driven through Kansas? Yeah, sprayer central, right? Because there's no water systems there. So therefore, choosing a place near water is ideal. If you have a nearby water system, a spring-fed stream or anything like that that you have is awesome. I also have experience working with like koi fish ponds as being your water. They are awesome. Those little koi fish will vamp your water up for sure. And if you keep it right close to your house in the closer zone, then you can just scoop that water up, water all of your house plants, anything like that. And you can also cut it down and you can funnel it to different places throughout your land. What do you guys use? How do you get water to your plants? What do you guys basically use? Tap water? Yeah, I know. Me too. Me too. Festy water, you know, whatever we can get at this point. Yeah, it kind of sucks, but I mean, work on it. And that's the thing, collecting rainwater, collecting rain barrels are absolutely awesome. I know that in some cities it's illegal even, but fuck that, you know? I mean, it's water, like, and we need that, and damn it if rainwater isn't awesome, you know? And so I encourage you highly, if you live in a situation that you can collect rainwater, even just to use for absolutely anything, even just to bring here with you, do it. Collect rainwater, because there's so much that you can do once you have that. You can use it inside, outside. It's awesome. Collect rainwater for sure. Okay. Another principle is that the problem is the solution. That's probably my favorite permaculture principle, is that you have to think, you know, if you have a garden and every time it rains you get this like river, creek, crevice that just like destroys the whole middle of everything, let that be where the water flows then, you know? Plant things at the bottom that are going to need to collect more water, or, you know, just really use those kinds of things. Don't fight it is the number one thing, okay? So you just really have to go with it, and it's really hard and it takes time sometimes to understand each individual ecosystem. You know, everyone has different minerals in their soil and everyone has a different landscape, and geographically it's different. So that's why it's really an intimate thing, because you get to go find your place and study it and see, you know, where is the best, you know, north or south facing slope, or what's going to grow best here and what's going to grow best there. So problem is the solution. That's definitely one of the keys for sure. Diversity is a really big one, hence permaculture, multi. So you want to get all kinds of different things in there. And are you guys familiar with zoning? Planting in zones? A little bit? Yeah. So I have a map thingy. Maybe I don't. I thought that I did. But yeah, so if you could imagine your house as zone 0. Anywhere that people dwell is zone 0. So you could keep things in there like these little planter pots, thyme, lemon balm, different herbs that you're going to use daily for tea, things like that. Keep them on your porch and your windowsill. Imagine that as zone 0. You can get water there pretty easily. You know, it's not going to be much of a problem. And then immediately outside your house, so maybe up against it or something, that would be zone 1. And then as you keep moving out, think of it in terms of how often am I going to want to walk all the way out there? You know, I mean, some gardens can be really big, or especially if you're planting on hillsides and stuff. Do you want to walk all the way down to the bottom of that hillside every time you want a cucumber or something? So you really have to, you know, take a lot of time to plan your zones. Like, what am I going to use the most? What needs picked daily? What needs watered daily? So planning out everything in zones is really important, and that's where the diversity comes in, because then you can plant things, you know, from zone 1 to zone 2 that are going to be companion plants. So like sunflowers are really, really good for cucumbers and squash. They keep a lot of the bugs and beetles and all that good jazz away from getting onto your squash and your cucumbers. So if you plant sunflowers, you know, on a row in between maybe zone 1 and zone 2 or zone 3 and zone 4, then that can help you, and that's companion planting, which is a beautiful thing. It really is. And hence, it ups your diversity of everything. So the more that you put around, the more bugs and everything that you can keep away, hold in soil roots better. Plants just love each other. They really do. They're a lot like humans. They can give each other energy, literally. Like, if you plant 2 plants beside each other, they're definitely more likely to survive than if you just planted 1. So definitely go with that concept all the time. And if you notice that plants don't like each other, maybe they're like just not vibing, they're killing each other, they're strangling each other, definitely get those out, baby them, and rethink, you know, where do I need to put these next year, or what do I need to do differently next time. Yeah, filling every niche is also another thing. Does anyone work with raised beds? Yeah, raised beds are awesome. I've been doing raised beds for a couple years now, and I just do 3 foot by 3 foot raised beds, and you can plant in zoning as well whenever it comes to raised beds. So I always put the tall things like sunflowers, tomatoes, things like that in the middle that you're not going to necessarily have to be reaching down into, things that are going to be up higher. And then outside of that, you would plant something, you know, that would maybe get 2 feet, 3 feet tall, somewhere around there. And then it's always good to have a ground cover in between everything, because with permaculture, bare soil is a big no-no. You don't want to till up the soil. You don't want to take all those good nutrients and mess them all up and then expose them to sunlight, expose them to bugs, expose them to all kinds of, that's how you get blights, different fungi, things like that. So always remember, a lot of people are like, weeds are bad. Weeds are only bad if they're harming, you know, the other plants that are there, but a lot of the times weeds can really help. And keeping a ground cover in there, even just mints. Mints are really good as a ground cover. Anything, a vine that's creeping, even have stuff coming out of your raised beds, you know, if you need to, down onto the ground around it. That would be even better if you can have just stuff going all around. Also, putting trellises in raised beds are awesome. That way you can utilize the good soil that you get from the raised beds and just grow up with it. Yeah. Does anyone else have any like key points that you see on any of these, or that you specifically have dealt with? Just like a principle that you feel like is really, really important when it comes to gardening or permaculture?
Have much experience with it, with the design from patterns, using the patterns in nature.
Yeah.
Figure out
Yeah, definitely.
when and
Yeah, when is a really good thing as well, like seasonally. You can start planting things really early together, and same as really late. You know, you have your cold season crops and your warm season crops. So kale, cabbage, those kinds of things, you can start planting really early and get your soil really, really nutrient rich early in the spring before you start planting everything else, your corn and your cucumbers and all of that good stuff. Does anyone in here have like a sustainable garden? Like that you keep yourself fed off of your own garden at all? I think you do. Yeah, you do. Do you use raised beds? You have 3 raised beds? Right on, that's awesome. You have what? Oh, bamboo trellis? Do you have those in your raised beds? Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Trellises are beautiful for anything that's vining like that. They're just awesome. They keep things raging.